Hey everyone, it's Karen with Yes Please PaperCrafts, and in this video I'm going to be creating a scrapbook layout for Simple Story Saturdays, which is a scrapbooking collaboration and YouTube hop that's hosted by my friend 𝗬𝗵𝗂𝗧𝗂𝗧, and we have a bunch of other creative people that are joining in this hop, and I'll have links to all of their YouTube channels in the description below, so y'all be sure and go check out what they created using their Simple Stories collections. Okay, so for this layout, I'm going to use this picture of my sister Terry. This picture was taken in 2020. This was the last time we attended the Scrapbook crop, and that's a scrapbooking crop that was in Mandeville, Louisiana. And one day that we were there, we decided to go ahead and have lunch over at this restaurant called 𝗬𝗶𝗁𝗄𝗃. And they serve breakfast food. And that was my first time ever going there, and it was really good. But my sister, she went over by the sign and we took this picture, and I thought this was a really cute picture of her. And so I'm going to scrapbook this picture. So as I was thinking about what collection to use, I knew I wanted to use something that had either garden or nature, because there was so much, greenery around where she's standing. So when I was looking through my Simple Stories collections, I came across this one, which is Simple Vintage Farmhouse Garden. Now, I picked this one up last year during the Black Friday sales, and I just think this collection is really beautiful. I don't know that I would have purchased this had I not picked it up on sale, because it does have a farm theme. It has like vegetables and farm animals. But even though it has that, I still think it's going to work really well for this photo. And I love, love, love the colors that are in this collection. They are just gorgeous. Okay, so in addition to using this collection, I thought I would bring in some things that are a little bit of a different texture. And I thought that wood veneer would be perfect for this layout. So I might try to bring in some wood veneer, and I just have this box of pieces. I don't know where this came from because it's just in one of these little storage cases. But it has a whole bunch of really cute things like leaves and butterflies and word quotes. I think I might have picked this up at Tuesday morning, and so that's probably where that came from. Okay, and then the other thing I thought about using is these some flare buttons. So I just recently put the October release into my button shop, and I'll put a link to my shop in the description below and also up here on the screen. And as part of that release, I have a bundle that is the Hello October. And as part of that bundle, it has colors that are very similar to this collection. And so I thought I would go ahead and try to maybe use one or two of these buttons. But these are some of the flare buttons that I created for the Hello October. And I just think that that's going to go perfectly with the colors in this collection. So I'm really excited about that. Okay, so let me go ahead and throw these back over here. Okay, so I think to get started, I'm going to go look through the paper with you guys. That's my favorite part of the scrapbooking process, is picking out paper. And I just love that part of the process so much. So I love to do it on camera and talk about all the paper because it's fun. I love paper. I could just be happy if I could just look through paper all day long. Okay, so with this Simple Vintage Essential Kit, it's the Collector's Essential Kit, you do get some different embellishments. So it came with 12 by 12 cardstock stickers, these garden bits and pieces, which is the die cuts. And I'll give y'all a little bit of a closer look at the die cuts there. You can see they have a lot of farm animals, but there's a lot of other things that I could use on here as well. And it was at a restaurant that was kind of, I would say, like that vibe, like the outdoor eating. I think we actually ate at a table outside. And then we have the chipboard stickers as well. I think that's included in here. And do we have, yeah, there's the chipboard stickers. So here's the chipboard stickers. So I think those are cool. I like this one that says gather. Yes, I think there's possibly quite a few things that we could use to embellish this layout, even though this is not a farm layout. Okay, and here's the, let's see, here's the paper. Okay, so that's just the thing that tells you what all is included. I'll put that over there. Okay, so we have some cut aparts. And then on the back of that one is this blue paper. And then there's a polka dot. And then this one here One of the things I'm looking for is a background for my layout. That would be a really pretty paper for a background. We also have this one that looks like chicken wire. That would make a really good one to use to mat the picture. I think that's really cute. I'll probably use that to match the picture. But I like this side too. This would make a really good one for a background. And I bet you there's only one piece of each one of these papers in here, just because I want to use both sides. I really like that as the background. Now it does have this rooster or chicken up here, and I could potentially cover that up with something. So I'm just going to set that one over here to the side, and we'll just keep looking. Okay, here's another paper with the cut apart. Simple Stories does have a lot of their papers do have cut aparts, which is super cool. This paper is funny. Look at the farm animals. There's like a cow, a sheep, a pig, and then a rooster up there at the top. And then here's a black and white gingham on the back. Okay, here's another paper that would be good as a background. If you were documenting like your vegetable garden or going to a farmer's market, this would be a really awesome background to use. And then here's the other side of that one. Okay, this is a really gorgeous floral. Isn't this paper pretty? I just love this paper. Okay, here's another paper. This just looks like a handkerchief. And this side has all different farm animals. Oh, we do have two of each paper. Well, that's perfect because I think I might use this paper for my background. Come back here. It's trying to go away. It's running away. All right. So this paper is the background. This paper to mat the photo. And then I'm going to have to figure out what to do over here. I don't really want this in my layout. I like the rest of this though. I think it's super cool. I like this part over here. So I might have to try to figure out what I can do. If I place my picture in the right place, I could possibly put a cluster over here and just cover it up with something else. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I want to look through the paper though and see if there's any other papers that I might want to use to do it. I like to do double or even triple mat sometimes with my pictures. And that's a really pretty paper too. It has a tone-on-tone chicken or rooster pattern, but you wouldn't really see that if you matted a picture with it. You would just see the color around the picture. So I really like this. I like the combination of these two here. So I could do something like that, which is super pretty. Let's see what else we have. And I'm just going to scoot this over here. Okay, so here is a paper with vegetables, and then there's this black paper on the back. That's really super cool. Okay, more cut aparts. I could possibly put a tag or something there to cover up that rooster. All right, and we have this one here. I love the colors. This is gorgeous. Isn't this gorgeous? It's like little seed packets. That's beautiful. The graphics in this is just incredible. Okay, and then here's some music on the back of that one. More cut aparts. And then the blue paper here. Okay. Well, that's really interesting that I have 3 of these. Now I'm wondering, it's possible that I could have purchased individual papers as well when I pick this up, because I like some of the papers, because I don't think it comes with, I have 3 of these one papers, right? And no, this is different. Okay, now I'm getting confused. Okay, it's just 2. I want to go back and see what was supposed to be included in the kit. Okay, and then we have this here, which is the sticker sheet. This is the 12 by 12 stickers. Those are really pretty. I love this collection. Okay, let's see what was supposed to be included here. So we're going to get 12 sheets of double-sided cardstock. And there's not 2 of those in here, so I must have picked up an extra piece of paper somewhere. That's cool. Well, that worked out. Okay, so we're going to use those papers to match the picture. I want to look for something to use for a title. And then I also would like to see if I could find something to cover that up. So let's go ahead and look for that. I do think I have some alphas from Simple Stories in different colors. Simple Stories has something called the Color Vibes, and it's a foam alpha, like a thicker, but it has the same font, and it's just in a whole bunch of different colors. And I did pick some of those up. I think I have maybe 7 or 8 different colors. I might have black. So I'm going to look and see what I have there for the title. And then they do have this one big word down here, together, but since she's by herself, I don't think that would work. Okay, so let's look through the ephemera and see if there's any tags or large pieces in there. And where did I put that? Okay, here we go. I see a barn, some florals, and a bunch of animals. I could make a tag just using some of the paper, and that might be what I end up doing. So we do have this barn here. And there's a whole bunch of different animals. So we have cows and animals standing on top of each other, and then pigs and sheep and roosters. Okay, so here's some things that may work on the layout. I have some florals, butterflies, it's a cabbage. There's lots of farm animals in here. I don't know if I have any scrapbooking layouts where I would use animals like that, but you never know. There might be pictures that I took a long time ago that I would use that on. I can't think of anything recent. Okay, so we have some tomatoes, some more flowers. Oh, that's kind of cool. There's a little windmill. There's quite a few flowers in here. There's also vegetables. So we have cabbage, lettuce, peas, different things. And looks like pears. Lots of butterflies. I like the butterflies. Those are pretty. All right. Thinking about this. I could potentially do this little barn right there. And then maybe just do a cluster around the barn. Let's see. These florals are really big. They're very large. I like to have different sizes because then you can layer them and do a little bit more with it. I could cut some of this apart though, maybe. That one's just the same. These are the same, they're just 2 different sizes. That's kind of cool that they gave you 2 different sizes of the same one. I would have liked to have had more flowers and less chickens and roosters. All right, so I'm not sure. Let's see how that would look. I think that's cute. I guess I don't necessarily mind having the rooster there. I didn't think about that. I mean, we were eating breakfast, and breakfast has eggs, right? I guess I shouldn't take that too literally and think that I have to have a layout about farm animals to use the farm animals. So maybe I should just go with that. I might do that because Lalou's is a breakfast place. They serve omelets and breakfast, all different kinds of breakfast things. So that might actually be okay to have that and not try to cover it up. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and map my picture and cut down the paper so that I don't have the branding strip on the top, and do some of those things and go find a title, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I finished matting my picture and cutting down my background paper, and I went and looked through my alphas to see if I could find something to use as a title. And when I matted the picture, I decided to change the paper because this paper here, which is the one I originally selected, is this peach color. And when I put it down next to the background paper, I didn't think it blended that well because this color here is a darker coral and this is more of a peach. And when I flipped this paper over and I put it there underneath the picture that had the black mat, I thought that was really pretty. And I think that this side of this paper blends much better with this background. And it adds a lot of color, which I really loved. Okay, so that's what I did for this. Now, I was looking for my Simple Stories alphas, and I have no idea what I did with them because I can't find them anywhere in my craft room. But my craft room is still quite a bit of a mess since I moved a couple months ago. And I was making a lot of progress in my craft room, and then I had to stop working on my new house and try to go over to the old house and get it fixed up so I could put it on the market to get it sold because I didn't want to wait too long. Because, you know, the holidays are coming up and I really need to get that house sold. So anyway, my craft room is a mess. I couldn't find my Simple Stories alphas. And I'm just going to go ahead and bring in something from my stash here. And I went and looked at my thickers. And the idea I had was to use something that had a wood grain since I'm planning to also use some of these wood veneer pieces. I thought that would really blend with everything else I'm using. And I love that combination of this kind of farmhouse look with the wood, or with the wood grain. And so we're going to look through these alphas. I picked out, I think, 5 different ones here and try to see which one I think would work the best for the title. Okay, so this first one that I have is, it's called Goodness. I don't know what these collections, what collection it goes with because on the thickers they don't actually put that. And I don't think it really matters, but this is a light wood grain. And I'm thinking that might blend too much into the background. I don't think it would stand out enough. Okay, so the next one we have here is this sticker here. And I like this one. I think it would stand out really well against the background. I'm just not 100% sure, especially if my title's pretty long, that might really look overpowering on the layout. Now, I could choose 2 different fonts. I thought about doing that. So if I did that and I had a shorter word, I could use these letters, okay? And then I have this alpha here, which is the Maggie. And this is like almost looks like a chipboard with white writing on it. See if you can see that. I've used this one quite a few times. I have a couple packs of this alpha and it's really a cute alpha. And that one would work really well. I don't think it blends as well though in with the other wood grains that are on the layout. Okay, so the next one we have is this darker wood grain. This is the macaw. And this one, I like the font on that one. I think that the color in this wood grain goes a little bit better with the barrel and these, what do you call that? The wheelbarrow. And I also have this one, which is kind of almost a multi-toned wood grain. The letters have different colors of wood grain. And that one also would be really cool. Okay, so I need to figure out what my title is going to be. So let's see. I could make the title be Breakfast Out or Lunch for Breakfast. That might be cute, but that might be really big. Unless I tried to bring in some smaller words. Okay, let me think about that for a minute. And okay, so after a lot of playing around with the letters and trying to come up with the title, I just decided to go with Lunch at Laloo. And I was going to put Lunch at Laloo over here, but when I repeated that I was thinking about using these bigger letters, it just was competing with the picture. So I thought, why not just incorporate my title into my picture? And so I'm going to put this @ sign right here. Once I make sure I know where I'm going to put everything, I'm thinking about putting the @ letter right there above the word Laloo to make it look like it's tied in with my title. And one of the things I did try was I wanted to put the word lunch on top of this mat, but the mat's not big enough. So when I did that, it just looks kind of weird. And so my thought was I could try to add another mat under the picture to extend this out so that if I do put the word lunch and incorporate it into the picture with the mat and then put this @ sign right here, that wouldn't look as strange as it looks right now. So that's kind of my thought process. So I think what I'm going to do is look for a paper that I could use to map my picture for a third time so that I could make my title as be a part of this picture. And I wanted to show y'all something else that I found. I was going and looking through all of the different stickers that I have. I'm just trying to challenge myself to use the stickers more. And now these letters are all falling off because I kept taking them off and putting them back on as I was trying out different words and different things to try for the title. And I tried out the word breakfast for lunch. I did a bunch of different things, and I didn't really like anything that I tried. And I thought it would be cute to incorporate the sign that's in the picture as part of the title. Okay, so I'm going to move this over here behind me so that it's out of the way. And I wanted to show y'all this sticker sheet. So they have on the sticker sheet this banner sticker right here, which is really pretty. And Simple Stories usually has a banner sticker sheet that's 12 by 12 that has a whole bunch of really large banners, which are super cool. So there's this banner here I thought was really pretty. And it says heart and home, sweet life, heart and home, like going across. And then it has like the doily and the butterflies. And I thought that would be really cool to put up here at the top of the layout. But I want to do something to ground that so that it doesn't really look like it's floating. And so my idea was that I would tear the paper here and put this black chicken wire paper underneath. And then I would layer this sticker right underneath there. And so that's what I'm going to try to do. And I think that would be really cute. I might also get my stapler out and maybe put in a couple of staples. I think it's fun to, you know, layer your paper from underneath and put holes in the paper. It's been a while since I've done that though, so I think it would be really cool to do that on this layout, and it would bring in more of that black. And I might do it up here and then maybe down here in this corner, just to kind of have that element go into more places on the layout. Okay, so let's go ahead and look through our paper to see if we can find another paper to use to go underneath this one to make the mat a little bit bigger. Okay, so here's our paper here. I'm just going to scoot this over. Let's go ahead and see if we can find another paper that might work. And we have a polka dot. This is a really pretty blue, but there's not much blue in my layout. And then we have this yellow paper. And I don't know that I want to cut into that because I love this side so much. But let's just check to see what this would look like if I just added that in there. I think it's okay, but it's not really, I don't think 100% sure that I would want to cut into that paper just to use that yellow paper that's on the other side. And could we have this paper that has kind of more of the black? And isn't that pretty? I like that because it gives a little bit more separation with the black color from the background. And I think this is going to be perfect. I don't even have to look anymore. So we're just going to go with that. I'm just trying to challenge myself to do things a little bit quicker, and I really love that, so I'm just not even going to look at any more of the paper. That way I don't confuse myself. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mat the picture one more time. I will put that on the layout, and then I'll be right back. So I went ahead and tore my background and then added the black chicken wire paper underneath. And I wanted to insert a clip here. I'm going to fast forward this and then talk over it. So what I did to tear the paper is I took my background paper and just used my fingers, and I very carefully ripped the paper along the edge, just making it look like a natural tear. And you just want to take your time and go slow and make your tear your paper just a little bit at a time. So I did tear the paper at the top section and then tested it out. I added the black paper underneath, and then I thought it wasn't quite enough. I took the sticker out of the sticker sheet and laid it across. I wanted just a little bit more of that black paper showing, so I did go back and tear just a little bit more of the paper. You do want to be careful when you're tearing into your background, because once you tear it, you can't put the paper back on there. So just be careful if you do try this technique. And then I did the same thing at the bottom. I just tore into the bottom of the paper, and then once I got the background torn, I took the black strips of paper and added some adhesive to 3 sides, and then I flipped my background over and added the adhesive just to the part where the paper was torn, and then I used my ATG gun and just added that adhesive on there, and then just laid the background on top of that paper, and that makes it stay, and it's really easy to get it lined up. And so I just did that on both of the paper tearing places. Okay, so now that I have this background finished, I did add the mat, the additional mat around the picture. So now that I have that, I have my title here, and I'm not sure if I want to put the title even with this first mat or maybe put it against the picture. So I was going to give that a little bit of a try just to see if I like that better. So let's go ahead and put this right up against the picture and see how that looks. And I did take the adhesive off of this @ sign because I wanted to play around with the placement of that, and I didn't want it to stick to, but once it sticks to the picture, I'm not going to be moving that. Okay, so I think I like it there, and I was thinking about maybe possibly putting that at an angle or putting it down there. Not sure, putting it here. I kind of like it there. It's kind of bridged on top of the sign between the word lunch and the restaurant name, which was La Luz. So I think I'm going to go with that. So let's go ahead and glue this down. I'm just going to take some ATG since I did take the stickiness off of that chipboard piece. And we'll put that there so that I can have my title done. I'm just going to add it right there in the middle, and then we'll have the word lunch right there on top. I might scoot this over just slightly. I do want to put some separation also, I think, between the letters. I just think it looks nice with the background paper or the map showing through. So I just want to get that a little bit more evenly spaced. Yeah, I think that's cute. I like that. It's kind of neat, incorporating the picture in with my title. What do y'all think? I'd like to get y'all's ideas on that. If you've ever done that before and incorporated your title in with your picture, I would love to hear about it. So leave me a comment below and tell me what you think about that idea. I think that might be the first time I've ever done that. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this sticker on now that we have our paper torn. We should be able to just go ahead and place this sticker up here at the top. Now I am going to cover up some of this really cool texture, but it is what it is. I think I'm going to go here, maybe, let's see, maybe scoot it over a little bit. I don't know if I got that on there straight. Let me look and see if I can use my T-square ruler. See, that's on there very crooked. Luckily that sticker didn't stick down too much. All right, let's see if that looks a little better. I'm really bad about getting things lined up. Okay, so that's really cute. And I think it's still on there crooked, and I'll stick it down. Well, lucky for me, it's coming up without tearing the paper. I'm so bad about getting stickers on the page. Okay, I think the problem is over here, I kind of started out crooked. Let's try this one more time. That's one of the biggest challenges with scrapbooking, is when you're putting something on your layout and it needs to be straight on there, otherwise it's going to look off and it's going to bug me. It might not bug everybody, but it's going to bug me. Okay, so I think that's on there straight now. Let's take a look at it before I press it down. Yep, that's on there straight. Okay, so now that we have that on there, we have our title done. Can start doing some embellishing. And so naturally I have a cluster up here because of the sticker here. I don't know if I'm going to put too much stuff there because that sticker, that banner sticker is super pretty. Let's try some of these flare buttons. I also have the chipboard. I want to use some of that chipboard. So that's really cute. There's so many. I could do like a little bit of cluster here. I don't have my picture attached yet because I did want to figure out my clusters before I put the picture down, because that way I can have some, you know, time to move it around, just, you know, based on what I decide to use on this layout. Okay, so we also have this floral element here that would be really pretty. It says welcome home, but I could cover that up just by using another sticker. I also had the idea to use these little photo corners, and I wanted to use them like here. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that and add these little photo corners because I think it makes it look like it's framed. Although it's not looking as good as when I didn't have this black paper here, but I think it still adds a really cool element by putting those little photo corners on there. It looked really cool when I tried this earlier. I don't think I was filming at the time when I was playing around with the stickers. When I found this sticker, I thought, wouldn't that be cool to put these little photo corners on there, because it would really make this stand out from the background. But because I'm mad at my picture again, it's not quite as cool, but still neat. I still like it. And I'm trying to challenge myself to use stickers more. Okay, that's pretty cool. It gives a really neat effect to the picture. Okay, I guess I could have used a different color, but I kind of like that. I don't know if I could change it now since I already stuck those on there, but let's give it a try. These stickers seem to be very forgiving from Simple Stories. Yeah, I don't like that as much. I like the black. We're going to go with the black and just, it'll blend in a little bit, but that's okay. I think it looks neat. Okay, so we're going to do that. And then let me see what ephemera we have. And also I have these chipboards. I think I have leaves, and there's butterflies. This is really some really cool chipboard. And I was thinking about maybe doing some kind of floral embellishment somewhere, or adding some of these chipboard leaves in, because those are super cool. We have all these leaves. I'm pretty sure I picked these up from Tuesday Mornings. It was more than one set there. I think there's probably a couple of sets of chipboard in here. I also have like words. Isn't that cool? I haven't used chipboard in a long time. I had the idea to use it though because of all the wood grain in the paper. I think it really suits this layout. That's really cool. I love fleur-de-lis. That'd be neat for a layout with New Orleans, pictures of New Orleans. Okay, so we could use some leaves like this, and maybe a butterfly. Could draw a butterfly. And then let's look at the other stuff we have over here. I gotta move this paper out of my way. Okay, we looked at this earlier, so we have lots of butterflies, and there was some floral pieces. And since I'm not going to cover up that rooster, I think it's a rooster. I don't know, is that a rooster or a chicken? It's one of those. Okay, and we can go ahead and see what might work. I don't want to cover up too much of this because it's so pretty, but maybe just use some of the smaller florals here. I think we have this one. Could put some of this up on foam tape. I wonder if I shouldn't do a cluster like kind of across the picture. That might be cool. Sometimes floral clusters work really well. Other times they don't go together as well. That one that I did a layout for Pink-Brush Studio, and when I laid my ephemera pieces out, it was like the cluster just went together like that. It was really, really easy. It just came together. This one, not so much. So I'm wondering if we shouldn't use some of the animals here, just to make it, you know, have a little bit more. And I could do some cut aparts if I could find something in the paper to use. They do have a lot of cut aparts, but they're kind of bigger. I don't know if there's really much else to cut from the paper. Most of the Simple Stories cut aparts are really large 3x4 and 4x4 and 4x6 cards, or pocket size cards for pocket scrapbooking. I'm kind of liking this floral right here. And if I put this floral down there, I could layer some stuff on top of that. Let's take a look and see how this would look. I don't know, it's just not going with my picture. There's also this one here. I don't think that really blends in with the other things on the layout for some reason. It's almost like the green is a much brighter color. Although I do have bright greens on here. Let's try this one here. I could maybe try this. Oh, that's pretty. So I could start my cluster with this one and then maybe layer some other things on top of it. I do like the idea of doing that. I might have to take the stickiness off this so I can play with that. Unless I'll figure out where I'm going to put my picture and then just go for it. I did want to do a little bit of a cluster down here also. So maybe I should try to figure out what I'm going to do down here so that I can figure out the picture placement, and then I can stick the sticker on my layout. So I'm just going to put that over there for now. And okay, I'm going to play with this for a few minutes and just kind of think about it, because as I'm talking, I'm having a hard time with focusing on this. So I'm going to play around with this for a few minutes and I'll be right back. Okay, so what I decided to do was to cut down the mat behind the picture a little bit. So I just took a little bit off. This is probably about 1/8 of an inch. And that's going to help to make the picture fit a little bit better onto the layout, because the matting got really large. Okay, so now that I have that, I built a little cluster down here at the bottom, kind of scattered some butterflies around, and then I found these pieces here. I think I'm going to build a cluster down here at the bottom, and I like this little ticket here, and I'm just going to, I think, build a cluster here, have a small one here, and this really looks very finished. I mean, these banner stickers are awesome because they do add a lot to the layout without you really having to do a lot. But I might add a butterfly on top of this butterfly just to give a little bit more dimension. I like to have dimension on my layout. Okay, so let me go ahead and keep embellishing this, and then I'll be back. After playing around with the clusters a little bit, I decided on putting the picture in the center. And I had originally thought I was going to push it over to the side and put a large cluster here. But when I did that, it was competing with the graphic that's on the background paper. So instead of putting the cluster further over, I decided to incorporate this greenery and these plants in the wheelbarrow. Kind of covered up the wheelbarrow, but it just blends a little bit better, and it's not competing with my background paper. And I'm going to scoot this over just so I can show y'all what I'm talking about here. So if I move this over and I move all these pieces, you can see now that I have this large cluster here with all this floral pieces. And when I do that and I have my picture pushed over, now I have this element here next to that one. And as I was looking at this, I decided I would just go ahead and try to incorporate this graphic or this image down here with my cluster. I also was struggling a bit with the different pieces that they had in the ephemera kit, because a lot of those elements were really large and there wasn't a whole lot of florals to go into this to be able to create a cluster. And I decided to cut them up a bit. So I took the sticker that was on the sticker sheet, I cut it in half, I added some foam tape just to the top of it. I like to do that with leaves because it gives a little bit of added dimension, but it still allows you to layer other things on top. And then I also cut apart this ephemera piece into 2 pieces so that I could use it in 2 different places in the cluster. Then I have this large pear. So let's move all of these pieces back over here on top of this image. And you can see that now that I've done that, it incorporates that into the cluster. It makes the cluster look a little bit bigger, and it's not competing as much with the picture. So we're going to move the picture over, and also want to tuck this piece here underneath. Now I did add some foam dots to the back of this piece. These are foam dots from a cherry on top. These are really cool because they have this little piece here that you can use to peel off the backing. So if you struggle with that, these foam dots are really cool. It comes on a big roll, and it looks like this. And that's what I used there. I do use a combination of different things. I also use some foam tape from 𝗬𝗏𝗯𝗲 from Scotch, and that's really my favorite one to use. But sometimes if I have a larger area or something more round, I can just stick on some of those dots. Okay, so let's see. I wanted to use some of the tickets, and I thought it would be fun to actually use my stapler and put a couple of these tickets together. So let's go ahead and take a look at the other tickets here. And I'm thinking that I might do, so this says gather, and then this says together. So I could do gather together, but if I overlapped them, it wouldn't really matter. Maybe I should just look more at the color. So I might just do this pink one and then the blue. I think that would look really cute. So if I just layered these together like this, then I can take my stapler and just add a staple over here. Adorable. I like that. This is the tiny attacher from Tim Holtz, and it uses little mini staples. And then we can just put that in maybe into the cluster here. I'm just going to set it over here until I get ready once I have all that glued down. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the other clusters. Down here at the bottom, I added in this floral piece, one of the wood veneer leaves, a flare button from my Yes Please button shop, and this one says love this. And I think I'm going to put that right there. And then also right here I have, I think this is an apple. And then I thought about putting this little butterfly somewhere over here. I also have a couple of more butterflies here that I thought about putting over here on the side. And then up here at the top, I'm using another flare button. This one says together here. Although my sister is the only person in the picture, we were all together there to eat lunch. And I'll probably do another layout with the group. I have more pictures from this occasion, and so I can maybe use this collection and do a few other layouts that would go along with this. And I have this blue butterfly that I'm going to pop up with some foam tape. I'm just going to add it right there on top of that butterfly because that'll give me a little bit more dimension so that I can maybe tuck in this leaf. So we're going to try to finagle this to see if I can overlap these pieces so that it looks pretty and do something like that. I'm not exactly sure if that's going to be how it goes, but I do want to use the wood veneer in all three of my clusters. I'm also thinking I might pull in another flare button over here so that I have a flare button in each one of the clusters. So maybe this one, which is a floral, or maybe this one, I'm not sure. We'll probably add that in once I get this cluster glued down. Okay, so let me go ahead and glue down all these elements, and then I'll be right back and we'll finish up the layout. Okay, so I finished gluing everything down, and I managed to get in a wood veneer piece in each one of my clusters, also a flare button. And what I did to actually layer this was I put a double layer of foam tape on the button so that I could just tuck that leaf underneath so you wouldn't be able to see the stem. And I did that up here and also down here. And then this one I just tucked behind some of the other ephemera pieces. And so yeah, I really love the way that this layout came out. And I was thinking about maybe adding some enamel dots. And so let's just take a look at some enamel dots that I have here. I thought it might be good just to keep it simple and maybe do something like this. These are some enamel dots that are in a white or like an off-white color. I also have, they kind of have a little bit of a sparkle. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. But these, I believe I picked these up from AliExpress. And I could use those, I think. The other ones I was thinking about were these. These are a matte alpha, but it's kind of, I think it's a little bit too stark against the background. And then I have these, which are a little bit darker. So even though these are all kind of off-white, they all look different when we put them onto the layout. So sometimes it's good to just try out different things. I think this is the same color. Okay, I think I'm going to go with these enamel dots. I'm just going to use the same color. Sometimes I use 3 different colors, but this layout, because of the background and how much there is on the layout, I think I'm just going to keep it simple and just do some flare, or not flare buttons, enamel dots in some different colors. So we'll just go ahead and add some of these on. I'm not going to think too much about it, because otherwise I'll be here moving them around for forever. So I'm just going to put 3 of these in a little bit of a cluster. I like to tuck them sometimes underneath things as well. So maybe I'll do that. And then we'll put some down here. And see, I can tuck that like underneath the leaf. I like doing that. I think that looks really cute. And we'll just add one more. Where should we add that one? Maybe I'll add it like right here, kind of tucked up underneath the butterfly a little bit. Get it to move over. Okay, I like that. Now, once I put those down, you can't really see them that well on some parts of the layout. And now I'm wondering if maybe I shouldn't do this up here instead. Just to make it not stand out as much. It just gives a little bit more texture to the layout, just a little bit, you know, more sparkle without really distracting from everything else that's going on with the layout. See how much that button or that enamel dot stands out? I think we're going to move that one. I notice that when I put on enamel dots, I don't usually press them down. And that way I can take a look at it and make sure I really like it before I press down on it. And then it does stay on there, but you can move them around a little bit more if you don't press down right away. Okay, so I think that looks really pretty. It adds a little bit of sparkle, another texture to the layout without really detracting from everything else that's going on. I'm going to hold this up to give you guys a close-up so you can see all of the different details. And when I get it up closer, you can see those enamel dots there. See if I can get my camera to focus a little bit better. There we go. And then we have the title there. And then here's the cluster down here at the bottom. You can see all the dimension that I have. And the enamel dots, you see they don't stand out very much, but it looks really pretty in person, especially because you can see the glitter in the enamel dots. They're kind of sparkly looking. And then here is the cluster down here at the bottom. And I love the paper tearing. I thought that came out really good. I thought that was really cool because it does add quite a bit. Gives me a place to put my clusters. It grounds the clusters and makes them look like they belong instead of just floating. When I like to make things touch on the layout because it just makes it look more natural, like it's intended. And if you just put things on your page and they're not touching each other, a lot of times it just looks like it's floating. And it can be a little bit disconcerting when you're looking at the layout and there's all these things just floating on the page. It makes your eye kind of travel around and look at all those things instead of focusing in on the picture. So by creating the clusters and making it ground to the bottom of the page, to the top of the page, and overlapping this cluster onto the photo, it connects everything together, makes your eyes travel in toward the photo, and makes the photo the focal point of your layout, which is, I think one of the most important parts about scrapbooking. Okay, well y'all be sure and go check out everyone else's videos that participated in this collaboration in YouTube Hop, and I'll have links to all of their YouTube channels in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed seeing this scrapbook process video, and if you did, please give this video a like because it helps me to know what types of videos y'all like to watch on my channel. It also helps YouTube to know what videos to recommend to other viewers. And if you're not already subscribed and you'd like to see more videos, please subscribe. I would love to have you join my channel. Okay, you guys, that's all I have for this video. I hope y'all have an awesome weekend, and I hope to see you next time. Bye now.